Positive punishment is a fundamental concept used in the theory of operant conditioning. This theory of operant conditioning was developed by Burgess Frederick Skinner, or commonly known as B.F. Skinner. In 1920s, after John B. Watson has left academic psychology, other behaviorists were becoming influential and proposing new forms of learning other than classical conditioning. And so does Skinner. Skinner's view was slightly less extreme than Watson, which Skinner believed that to understand a behavior is to look at the causes of an action and its consequences. In 1936, Skinner wrote The Behavior of Organisms and finally introduced the concept of operant conditioning and shaping. Skinner's work in operant conditioning is based on Thorndike's law of effect in 1898. According to this principle, behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, while behavior that is followed with unpleasant consequences is less likely to be repeated. In 1948, Skinner conducted an experiment using Skinner box. Skinner box used animals to study operant conditioning, including neutral operants, reinforcers, and punishers. Interestingly, I want to share with you guys one controversial experiment which used the concept of positive punishment. In 1993, D.E. Williams and his colleague conducted this controversial experiment to Suzanne, a 24 years old girl who was profoundly mentally retarded and engaged in self-injurious behavior such as severe self-biting, ear and eye gouging, that Suzanne had to wear fencing masks and special gloves to prevent the self-injury. Since all other treatments had failed, the State Committee for Behavior Therapy has approved a program that involved the using of positive punishments to treat Suzanne. Essentially, Suzanne was given electric shock each time Suzanne beat or harmed herself. After dozens of sessions, the use of positive punishment decreased Suzanne's self-injurious behavior by 99% to almost zero. After 69 treatment sessions, Suzanne's protective face mask and gloves were removed, and for the first time in 15 years, Suzanne began to feed herself, performing personal care, and refrain herself from self-injury.